Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. It's the show that loves it when corgis walk like sneakerheads. I feel you, Maple. Actually, I don't. Those are just shoes, man. Walk in them, crease them. Who cares what the internet thinks? Enjoy yourself. Let's start with some hot takes. Zion is apparently unhappy with the New Orleans Pelicans, which means he's going to be a Laker. Just thought I'd throw that out there. E3 2021 has come and gone, and it was a thing that happened, I guess. The game announcements were fine for what they were, but there weren't a whole lot of new blockbuster IP reveals. The surprises didn't really generate the hype that we typically see from these shows in our predictions. Well, the less we talk about them, the better. Besides, co-writer put most of that bit together, so really, you should blame him for all of this. We did get the Black of the Switch Pro announcement right, so suck it, Bloomberg. Just kidding, Bloomberg. I'm down for a feature as long as I can show you my secret reseller business that's supposed to be a secret and a few credit card statements from my mom who's also a Nike VP. The NBA is blowing up, but not in the way that people expected it to. The playoffs have been ruined by multiple injuries to its star players, including but not limited to Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Jamal Murray, and many more. And to top it off, Chris Paul has entered the league's COVID protocols, which could keep him out of the Western Conference Finals and possibly the NBA Finals. It's a bummer, man, and not just because my 17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers were bounced from the first round. And it's not going to get better. With the Olympics kicking off later than usual, which means the players who actually join Team USA will have less time to recover for the new season. We can't even get good Photoshop players in Lakers uniforms because we don't know if they'll get eventually injured or not. Man, this sucks. In this week's Maybe Somebody Should Take the Phone Away from Swaggy P segment, I present this tweet. In the WNBA Twitter, however, the smoke is here and we're all for it. After Bleacher Report tweeted a move by Skylar Diggins-Smith, who famously left my co-writer stupefied when he had to interview her a few years back, Jasmine Jones tweeted back mentioning that she actually hit the winning shot in the game to beat Diggins-Smith's team. Not one to back down, Diggins-Smith tweeted a criticism of how Jones's team only hypes up Sabrina Ionescu, which is actually a continuation of her view on how the league and the media tends to promote certain players. And then players and other teams got involved with their popcorn gifts and championship ring talk. Look, just don't let Swaggy P in the party and take it too far. Congratulations to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes for making the cover of Madden NFL 22. The first time in over a decade, two players will be sharing cover duties in the game. It's continuing a recent trend by EA Sports to show their cover stars in more relaxed settings. In special editions of FIFA and UFC, you've got their stars in casual gear, and in last year's Madden, Lamar Jackson was less in action and more in quiet contemplation. I swear next year, when inevitably Dak Prescott gets the cover because he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and he's got a Jordan deal, blah, 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 he's going to get a cover that looks less like football and more like a Jordan brand photo shoot with never before seen Travis Scott ones. Yep, Jacques Slade is still in hater-ass hating mode. And finally, congrats to AEW for booking a huge New York City show for the very first time. It will be at Arthur Ashe Stadium, which is the site of the Tennis US Open. It's a cool venue and should give Dynamite a huge look playing in New York in that way. But really, all my respect goes to this killer comment which says, yeah, I've heard that MSG's owner, Trey Young, charges a ridiculously high booking fee. Damn, Fanboy 7. That was beautiful. Much respect. All right, so it's the halfway point of 2021, and we've had an interesting 6 months of sneaker releases. From the new Air Jordans that I think people like, to Dunks that I think people like because other people like them, to Yeezys that I don't understand why people like them, to Pumas that I wish people liked more. We have compiled our list of the top 10 sneakers of 2021 so far, hard pass style. And you know what that means. Actually, you probably don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means since co-writer has veto power over this list because I lost the bet over the weekend. I mean, how could I forget Silky Johnson won the Player Haters Ball in 2002 and 2003? By the way, the only guarantee on this list, no foam Yeezy runners at all. Seriously, what the f***? All right, number 10, Adidas Dawn issue number 2, Spidey Sense. Not sure why it's called Spidey Sense because it's not like Spider-Man's Spider Sense pops off in white, pink, black, and teal. Every comic book fan and person who watched Into the Spider-Verse knows that this colorway borrows from the alternate universe Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen. Feels like a missed opportunity here by Adidas to really highlight this pair, which I would argue is the best Adidas Dawn sneaker from either issue 1, 2, or what we've seen of the 3 so far. Number 9, Air Jordan 35 Low, Cosmic Deception. It's the Luka Doncic pre-signature shoe signature shoe. Despite another first-round exit and what appears to be a ton of front office drama, the future still looks bright for Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, maybe not as bright as it was before the playoffs, and with Trae Young coming on strong with his own playoff highlight reel, not to mention the signature shoe dropping later this year, next season could be make or break for Luka in Dallas, with or without a signature shoe. I'll just be right here looking at Lakers stan accounts who have already photoshopped some Luka magic in a Lakers uniform. I might be a little biased, but I think number 77 looks good in purple and gold. Number 8, undefeated Nike Kobe 5 Protro Hall of Fame. It's a somber reminder of what we have, what we lost, and where we are now. With the dissolution of the Nike and Kobe Bryant estate partnership, this will be the last real Nike Kobe drop for a while. Between the controversy surrounding the leak of the Kobe 6 Mambasita, a colorway designed by Vanessa Bryant to honor her daughter Gianna, and Kobe allegedly planning to leave the brand anyways, it might be a long time before we get another Protro drop, if ever. Number 7, Curry 8 Flow. All of them. Well, most of them. Psst. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, but the Curry 8 Flow was the best new overall basketball shoe of the 2020-21 season. It's got the performance aspect on lock, and for those who have been looking for an all-around pair that you can wear on and off the court, I think it does the job better than anything that the other brands have put out this season. It's got the new Curry logo, which I think is a step above the usual interlocking initials gimmick we've gotten over the years. Not only that, the UA logo is barely visible, which is good. Hopefully for the Curry 9, the UA is just out altogether. And no, it's not because I'm a hater of that logo, but if you want people to take the Curry brand seriously as a separate entity that exists kind of like Jordan brand, they have to let it go. Number 6, Nike Air Max 95 LeBron, home team. 17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers, baby! Number 5, Amon Henry, women's Air Jordan 3. But it's just another white and gray Air Jordan. Haven't we had enough of those to last us a lifetime? Really? This came out the same year as Virgil is going to flood the market with white and gray dunks. You've probably heard the criticisms, but this shoe still rises above that. The leather with the raw edges, the use of gray suede overlays, the quilted inner lining, the touch and reason why these are women's exclusives, and the comedy of watching dudes out here trying to little too hard to buy them in the bigger sizes, that almost guarantees a spot in the top 10 in my opinion. Number 4, Simpsons and Adidas Originals collection. All of them, for real this time. Marvel, Muppets, Little Mermaid, Simpsons. If you look inside an Adidas flagship store, you can be forgiven for thinking you accidentally went to the Disney store. It's probably just a wild coincidence that all of these intellectual properties are technically owned by the House of Mouse, but the 3 Stripes pop culture collaborations have been on point in 2021. If we had to pick our favorites, it would be the Simpsons and Adidas Originals team up. I love that they didn't go with the obvious homages to Bart, Lisa, Homer, Marge, and Maggie, but rather iconic moments and side characters from the show. Number 3, Nike SB Dunk Low, What the Paul. Whoever thought of the idea of making a What the shoe for Paul Rodriguez deserves a raise. Bringing back memorable colorways, themes, and dunks from Paul's time with Nike SB made for a perfect homage to his career. When everybody starts to make their end of the year list, I wouldn't be surprised if multiple outlets gave their top honor to these. And it will be absolutely well deserved. I just hope nobody has ideas of making a What the Paul shoe for another Paul within Nike. I'm just saying. Number 2, Air Jordan 4 Golf, White Cement. The Jordan Brand Golf Connection has been building momentum year after year. And if you're not still on board, I don't know what to say. And now that we're starting to see classics like the White Cement at major tournaments and on the feet of the game's best players, hopefully this will finally convince Tiger to change up the formula and wear a pair of J's. Or maybe we finally get that Tiger and Jordan collaboration I've been dreaming of. I mean, Tiger has worked with Toby Hatfield, Tinker Hatfield's brother. Maybe somebody makes a call, Tiger stops by MJ's Grove 23 golf course in Florida, and they get to talking. We need this, Nike. Make it happen. And then number 1, the Nike Go Flyees. Full stop. Nike needs to make more of these. Make enough so it's easy for people with disabilities to buy them and resellers aren't jacking up the price. Normally, I'm the person who doesn't always get too worked up about what shoes are limited or not, but that's not the case here. It's disappointing that the Go Flyees is limited and that Nike didn't do enough to make them available to the communities that need them the most. As one of their top athletes once said, do better tomorrow. All right, it's the Heat Check, where we bring you everything dropping this week. Let's start with some sneakers that will finally drop this week after numerous delays. Disclaimer, it's totally possible some or all of these shoes will get delayed again because Sneakers app hates me and my guts. So, Nike LeBron 8 Low Miami Nights, 21st for 180. Dunk Low University Blue, the 24th for 100. The Dunk Low Candy Women's, the 25th for 110. The Dunk Low Free 99, the 25th for 110. And the Dunk High Crimson Tint, the 26th for 110, and that's women's. Then we have the Dunk Low Zebra on the 22nd for 110, and the Nike Dunk Low Cheetah on the 22nd for 110 as well. I know what you're thinking. Don't worry, I looked it up for you. Healthy adult zebras aren't high on the cheetah menu. Baby zebras, different story sadly. However, adult zebras can kick any potential predator so hard that they can ward them off with just one good shot. Oh right, the shoes. They're fine. Just fine, I guess. Then we have the New Balance 550 on the 24th for 120. Not gonna lie, at first glance, the purple and white had me believing for a second that this was a retro of the P740, aka the Worthy Express. It's not, sadly, but I can hope, can I? These are also dropping in green and white along with the black and white for $10 less for some reason. The Laker vibes is worth the premium. Then we have the Jordan 1 Low OG in neutral gray on the 24th for 130. After release of the high a few weeks ago, we've got the low cut version. Hopefully this is the start of a trend where the high and low versions of ones are in line with each other. The eShot Wear, Magnus Walker, and Nike SB Dunk High on the 25th for 120. It's a multifaceted collaboration between Nike Skateboarder Pro Wear and Walker that's based on Walker's favorite Porsche sports car, which according to DuPont Registry was a 1971 911T that was transformed to resemble a 1973 RS Carrera. Then we have the Adidas Yeezy 450 Dark Slate on the 25th for 200. It's black. Why call it Dark Slate, which is typically a gray color with a hint of azure? Am I the only one who cares about the integrity of color spectrums? Come on, yay. Then my pick of the week is the Nike LeBron 8 Low Treasure Blue on the 25th for 180. Known to most people as the Sprite colorway, I guess we can't even call it that anymore because LeBron has signed a new deal with Pepsi to endorse Mountain Dew. We're definitely getting a LeBron 19 in the Mountain Dew colorway, aren't we? And now, for a heat check on Billie Eilish's upcoming collab with Jordan Brand. This past week, we got our first look at the singer-songwriter's take on the Air Jordan 1 KO, a sticker that we normally don't associate with collabs. We also got reports that she will also be dropping an Air Jordan 15, a sneaker that would be near the bottom of most people's list of the greatest J's ever made. So we've got a pair of ones that no one really cares about and one of the most hated on deck. Finally, someone is taking a chance on these and giving us their take on it with the hope that maybe it'll jumpstart interest in those silhouettes. And people are mad because why? I'll be honest here, I'm not a big Billie Eilish fan. It's not because I have a distaste for her music. I just never come across it all the time. She's basically a cipher, a figure in the culture that could mean everything and also nothing at the same time. She's popular, cool, she's a fan of sneakers, awesome. She doesn't appear to be an industry plant, fantastic. But she seems to elicit a certain response from the community, and when these sneakers were first revealed, there was a lot of disappointment and frustration in the comments. They range from the sneakers being lazy to her not deserving the privilege of a Jordan collab to every other negative thing you can imagine. Now, I'm going to take all of the bad faith arguments for why she doesn't deserve this collab first and shove it into a pair of Jordan 22s, the real worst J ever, and send it to the moon with all the Dogecoin. Wait, that was a good analogy. I'll get back to you with a bad one. Anyways, we're not going to talk about those. I'm going to focus on the people who have genuine concerns. Like, why does she deserve her spot? Because she's a celebrity, and celebrities, whether you like it or not, drive the culture and influence people to buy and wear their stuff. Like, we can all sit here and say, I'm above the hype and blah, 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 but most of us wouldn't wear Jordans, eat Wheaties, drink Gatorade, wear Hanes, trade Upper Deck cards, or suffer through Charlotte Hornet games before LaMelo if MJ was not involved in some form. But because MJ is no longer in the spotlight as much, wearing correctly fitting jeans notwithstanding, Jordan Brand has to tap into the next generation. On one side, you've got the Zions and the Lukas who are wearing the latest J's on the court. On the other, you've got the Travis Scotts, the Alila Mays, the Titans, and the rest of the athletes who are wearing the retros off the court. And Billie Eilish just happens to be next. Deal with it. I guess, okay, the next step is those shoes are uninspired and lazy. Well, okay, I'm not a fan of what I've seen so far either, but guess what? I think that's kind of the point when it comes to Billie. During an episode of Sneaker Shopping a few years back, she made a point about the 15s.
Just saying, I love the 15s more than, any other shoe in the world.
Right, one of the most hated on Jordans.
People hate that shoe.
And it's your favorite.
It's my favorite shoe. And also, nobody really wears 15s.
She's a fan of things people don't like. Now, if you're a Billie hater, you assume that she's a troll and she's doing it for the attention of being a contrarian. If you're a fan and you're like me and don't particularly give a you kind of applaud her for tackling a sneaker that you don't particularly care for. So in my case, I think it's kind of admirable that she is working on these two sneakers that don't have many fans because I wouldn't want it to be me. Think of it like a group project, and everybody has to volunteer which part they're going to do. Now, there's the parts of the project that are easier and more glamorous, so those spots are going to fill up quick. But then there are the spots full of menial or boring jobs that nobody wants to do. And since no one wants any part of them, they're going to be assigned randomly and somebody is going to be stuck with a task that will get a half-assed effort. What Billie is essentially doing is taking one for the team and volunteering to work on the crap no one else wants to do. And I think that deserves some credit at the end of the day. So I give Billie Eilish's gung-ho attitude about working on J's no one cares about a perfect 10 Jordan 1 KOs out of 10 Jordan 15s. The leak photos and mock images we've seen so far, have we ever given a negative score on the heat check? Nah. We won't do that. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like, well, what do we have here? So we got our latest example of sneaker shaming this past weekend with the release of the Ambush Nike Dunk High. Offspring, one of the largest UK retailers, caught a lot of heat on social media when it was revealed that everybody who managed to score a pair of the Ambush Dunks got an incomplete package. You see, Offspring's employees were crushing the boxes in front of customers and only walking out with the shoes. That didn't go over well. And now they have posted on Instagram an explanation and provided context for why the shoes were being crushed. Basically, the shoes and the boxes that were being crushed were leftover pairs from previous raffles. In an effort to keep the release of these old raffle shoes safe, they implemented a policy of selling the shoes without the box. Turns out, they were too clever for their own good with that little stunt. Now, it would have been all fine and good, and we would have moved on to the next silly controversy, but then they dropped this little nugget in the end. We apologize to those customers who were offended by our actions. Wow. Classic deflection there. So basically, they're less sorry about what they did and more sorry that sneaker Twitter made them the main character for a few days. If this had gone over well, they would have done it again next week. It's not a new practice. Just a few weeks ago, we had people in Boston doing push-ups to buy the Yeezy foam runners at Concepts. Late last year, a store in South Africa made people who bought a pair of the Varsity Maze Nike Dunk Highs walk out wearing the shoes. Skate shops, they famously force people to do skate tricks or wear highly specific clothing in order to secure hyped SB dunks. This has been going on for decades, and it's not without reason. For these retailers, this is their way of combating the reseller problem. Too often, these super hyped and super limited kicks drop and regular people are left in the cold. The shoes go to opportunistic resellers who either use bots to gobble them all up online, or they have connections with stores with less than honorable practices and team up to screw over the fans who actually want the shoes. And sometimes, the same stores who you see using these stunts to act like they are for the culture are the same ones who backdoor shoes for their friends. Anyway, Offspring's stunt was a tipping point for a lot of people. There has been chatter through the years that these are nothing more than attempts to go viral and build awareness for said store, and they don't actually care about the reseller problem. Like, I understand, there are stories out there who genuinely care for their community and are frustrated when they see people who are not regular swoop in to buy the shoes that they feel were meant for their day ones. And I can't really be upset when they go to extreme lengths to protect those fans and do what they can to reward loyalty. But man, stupid stunts like crushing boxes is not the solution. It's bad optics, perpetuates an aura of superiority and gatekeeping, and forces people out who might want to jump into the sneaker game. And I get it. You're probably thinking, oh, Jacques, who wears the box? But it's not about that. Would you be okay if after months of waiting for the PS5 or Xbox Series X, you finally got one, and when you show up at Target, an employee was carelessly taking out the contents, tearing the box to shreds, and handing you your console, controllers, and cables in a bag? What if it got damaged and the console wasn't functional? Would you still be okay with not being able to get a refund because they were doing it for the culture? If you go to Hermes or a Gucci or a Dior to buy a present for a loved one or for yourself, do you want the people to just hand you the bag and the wallet or the sneakers? Hell no. You want the ambiance, the experience, the small talk, the packaging, and that gift receipt because, well, you never know sometimes. You guys might think otherwise, but the store's responsibility is to provide the best experience for the customers, and whatever the customer chooses to do with the product afterwards is kind of on them. Oh, and also, not to apologize if they don't actually mean it. They just mad they got called out. All right. That's going to do it for the show today. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I'm Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week, but not before I show you what happened to this jackass goose from Untitled Goose Game. He's a dog now. I'll see you next week. Peace.